Every habit you have is quietly placing you somewhere on a ladder. You just have never seen the ladder drawn out. So today, we are going to draw it. We are ranking feminine habits from F tier, the ones bleeding your energy without you noticing, all the way up to S tier, the ones that make a woman unforgettable in a way she never has to announce. As we climb, do one thing. Be honest about where your own habits actually sit. Most women think they are higher than they are. By the end, you will know your real tier, and knowing it is the whole point, because you cannot change a position you refuse to see. A habit you are blind to runs your life on autopilot. A habit you can name, you can finally move. Let us start at the bottom, because the bottom is more crowded than anyone admits, and because almost every woman watching has at least one foot still standing in it. F tier. These are not neutral habits. They cost you every single day. The first one is over-explaining. You give a paragraph when a sentence would do. You justify your no, you soften your boundary until it disappears, you apologize for taking up space you are always allowed to take. Every extra word is a small signal that you are not sure you have the right to be here. The second F-tier habit is chasing a reaction, refreshing the screen, waiting for the reply, reading meaning into how fast someone answers. You have handed the steering wheel of your mood to a person who does not even know they are holding it. The third is comparison scrolling, measuring your ordinary Tuesday against someone else's edited highlight, then wondering why you feel behind. And the fourth is negotiating with yourself out loud, downplaying what you want, shrinking your own dreams before anyone else gets the chance to. You call it being realistic. It is really just fear rehearsing your defeat in advance. These habits feel harmless because everyone has them. That is exactly why they are F tier. They are the baseline noise most women never switch off. But watch what happens as we move up, because the next tier looks like effort, and that is what makes it dangerous.
D tier. This is the well-meaning trap. These habits look like glow-up, but they are hollow. The classic one is performing femininity for an audience. The perfect aesthetic, the curated morning, the soft life visuals, all of it staged for people who are not even in the room. You are doing the work of being seen without doing the work of becoming. The second D-tier habit is people-pleasing dressed up as kindness. Saying yes when your whole body means no, over-giving to feel needed, keeping the peace by abandoning yourself. It reads as generous. It is actually fear wearing a nice outfit. And the third is tying your worth to how you look on any given day. When the skin is clear and the outfit lands, you feel powerful. When it does not, you feel invisible. That is not confidence. That is a mood renting your self-esteem by the hour. D tier is seductive because it feels productive. You are busy. You are just busy in the wrong direction. So what does neutral actually look like? That is the tier almost nobody talks about, and it matters more than you would think. C tier, the baseline, table stakes. These are the habits that do not raise you, but their absence quietly sinks you. Basic care of your body, the unglamorous maintenance nobody claps for. Showing up when you said you would, so your word starts to mean something. Keeping your space in order, because the room you live in is a mirror of the mind you live in. None of this is impressive. You do not get admired for being clean and on time. But here is the quiet truth of C tier. It is the floor that everything higher is built on. You cannot regulate your emotions in a life that is in constant chaos. You cannot command respect while breaking your own small promises. Most women want to skip straight to magnetic while their foundation is cracked, and then they wonder why nothing holds. Think of it like a house. Nobody compliments the foundation. Nobody photographs the concrete under the floor. But every beautiful room above it is standing on that unglamorous work, and the moment it fails, everything above it falls with it. Get C tier boring and consistent, and you unlock the tier where the real change begins. This is where it stops being about looking like a high-value woman and starts being about the internal machinery. Pay close attention now, because from here up, the habits get rarer.
B tier. This is where women separate from the crowd. The first B tier habit is the pause. Something provokes you, and instead of reacting on impulse, you take the half-second breath before you respond. That gap, that tiny space between the trigger and the reply, is where all of your power lives. Women who own that pause stop being run by their moods. The second is following through on the promises you make to yourself. You said you would rest, so you rest. You said you would stop texting first, so you stop. Every kept promise is a deposit into a bank account called self-trust, and self-trust is the quiet root of every confident woman you have ever envied. The third B tier habit is handling your own money without flinching, knowing what comes in, what goes out, what you are building. A woman who understands her own finances carries a calm that no amount of borrowed luxury can fake. And the fourth is treating rest as non-negotiable rather than a reward you have to earn by burning out first. B-tier women stop performing exhaustion. They understand that a rested woman makes better decisions than a depleted one, every time. If you live in B-tier, you are already ahead of most. But there is a tier above this that people can feel the moment you walk in, and it has almost nothing to do with effort. A-tier. This is where a woman becomes magnetic, and the strange part is that magnetism is mostly made of restraint. The signature A-tier habit is the boundary held without guilt. She says no, and she does not spend the next 3 hours apologizing for it in her head. The no is complete. It does not need a footnote. The second is presence that is not in a hurry. She speaks a little slower. She listens all the way to the end of your sentence instead of loading her reply. She is not anxious to fill the silence, and that unbothered stillness reads as depth because it is. Everyone else in the room is performing to be liked. She is simply there, fully, and the contrast is impossible to ignore. Stillness in a world of noise is its own kind of loud. The third A-tier habit is self-respect that never has to be advertised. She does not tell you she is a high-value woman. She does not need the label because the behavior already said it. And the fourth is choosing peace over being right. She can win the argument and still walk away, because her nervous system is worth more to her than the last word. A-tier women are rare. You have met only a few in your life, and you remember every one of them. But there is one tier higher, and it is the quietest of all. From the outside, it can look like nothing is happening. Inside, everything is.
S tier, the top of the ladder. And here is the twist that catches everyone off guard. S tier is not louder than A tier. It is stiller. The defining S tier habit is emotional self-sufficiency. She does not need to be chosen to feel whole. She would love the right connection, but she is not auditioning for it, because she is already complete on her own. That single shift changes how she moves through every room, every relationship, every negotiation. When you do not need a particular outcome, you stop clinging. And the strange law of it is that the things you stop chasing are the very things that start arriving. Her power is not that she wants nothing. Her power is that she needs nothing to feel like herself. The second is deep discernment about who gets access to her. She has stopped trying to be understood by everyone. She gives her time, her energy, and her softness to the few who have earned it, and she feels no guilt about the door she keeps closed. The third S-tier habit is consistency of character when no one is watching. She is the same woman alone at midnight as she is in public at noon. There is no performance to keep up, because there was never a performance to begin with. And the fourth is investing in herself as the long game. Her skills, her health, her mind, her peace, treated as assets that compound over decades. She is not chasing a glow-up for a season. She is building a self that ages into something rarer every year. That is S-tier. Not the woman everyone looks at, the woman everyone remembers. So now the ladder is drawn, from the habits quietly costing you at the bottom to the quiet mastery at the top. And you already know, somewhere honest in you, where most of your habits actually sit today. That is not something to feel bad about. Every S-tier woman you can picture was once standing in S-tier, over-explaining, chasing a reply, measuring herself against strangers. The tiers are not a verdict on who you are. They are a map of where you can go. You do not climb it by force. You climb it by trading one habit at a time. Drop one F-tier habit this week and replace it with the next tier up. Then do it again. You do not need to leap from bottom to top overnight, and any woman who promises you that is selling you a fantasy. Real change is one small trade repeated until it becomes who you are. The over-explaining becomes the clean no. The chasing becomes the pause. The comparison becomes the quiet, private work only you can see. The ladder rewards the woman who keeps climbing quietly, long after everyone else got bored and looked away. Because in the end, this was never really about being seen as high value. It was about becoming someone you no longer have to prove. And that, more than anything else on this entire ladder, is the habit that changes your whole life.